Got a fun one for you guys today. Mouth tape, oil pulling, U-shaped toothbrushes, game changers or a waste of time? I'm a dentist and I've spent the last decade seeing what actually works in people's mouths. Whenever I'm deciding what product is worth it, I need to look at the facts. Number one, is it fixing a problem that actually exists? Number two, is there legitimate clinical evidence? Number three, if it works, is it practical or cost effective? Because let's be real, in this economy, it's gotta be. So at the end of each of the products that I review, I will label it as a buy, a try, or a skip. And let's start with one of the most interesting ones that's been used for thousands of years, way before they came to your Walgreens aisle. And that's oil pulling. All right, this is a really fun one. Why? Because if you look at the science, it actually makes sense. Oil pulling comes from the ancient Ayurvedic medicine, practiced for thousands of years. The idea is you vigorously swish around oil in your mouth for up to 20 minutes. And the oil, being lipophilic, it binds to the outer membrane of the bacteria. This can reduce plaque, maybe even help with inflammation. The mechanism seems to make sense. And there's a lot of anecdotal evidence. You go on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. There are even dental professionals who have shown their before-after results. The only thing is, it's really hard to find any strong body of research backing up these claims. Anecdotal evidence, even though they might sound convincing, they're not the strongest forms of evidence. So as a professional, it's hard for us to recommend something unless there is that body of research. So my verdict, judging off the facts and the research, it's a try, not necessarily a buy.
All right, number two, mouth tape. This one's a fascinating one because right now we're at a crossroads of modern trends like taping your mouth shut every night and modern science. Do the two agree on this behavior? I was so curious, I tried it myself. We know that mouth breathing and snoring are actually huge indicators for underlying sleep disorders. We need to address these problems early because they can lead to further health complications. Surprisingly, I actually felt very well rested after I started using this. I was getting better sleep scores, waking up with less dry mouth. Experts and the science says, even though you might feel like you're getting better sleep quality with this, it's not helping. The reason I'm talking about all of this in my personal experience is sometimes there is a disconnect between what you experience and what the science says. So my verdict, based on current evidence, I have to say skip. But if you have the ability to breathe through your nose, there's very limited downside to using a thin piece of medical grade tape and trying it. Let's move on to the next.
All right, number three, whitening toothpaste. People spend a fortune on whitening toothpaste, hoping, wishing they'll get a whiter smile. Here's the reality. The dosage of bleaching agent or the hydrogen peroxide that you get in your whitening toothpaste has to be capped at a certain limit because when bleach gets onto your gums, it can damage them, right? So this dosage is usually about 2% hydrogen peroxide. Compare that to in-office bleaching. We use 40% under strict controls like blocking your gums out. So why I mention this is that while whitening toothpaste may not be harmful, you can't expect clinically significant whitening at such a low dosage. It would be equivalent to you trying to charge your Tesla with your MacBook charger. My verdict, skip. In just a bit, I'll talk about the whitening method you should be using. But number four, electric toothbrushes. Are electric brushes better than manual? Multiple studies show that electric brushes are more effective at reducing plaque and reducing gingivitis than manual brushes, but not all are created equally. Some have intensities too high that damage gums or recede them. Others have abrasive brush heads. So the execution and the decision in what tool to use matters. And that brings me to the sponsor of today's health video and the brush I recommend for adults. I've been using Sucast for almost a year now, and they sent me their updated version, which is even better than their previous. First, this brush follows a bass brushing technique. It provides a 20-degree brushing angle at the gum line, and it does 66,000 vibrations per minute. The intensity, importantly, is modifiable. My recommendation, as I've mentioned before, find the lowest intensity that works for you and use soft bristles. Now, here's what really sets us apart. It's a 2-in-1 water flosser and brush. Most electric brushes only clean what you see on the surface. This handles both surface and in-between spaces because it's got the flosser built in. Especially useful if you're using orthodontic appliances or have braces. Just press the button after and you're in flossing mode. The big question is it worth the money? Absolutely. I've used bigger name brand brushes that cost literally double for no reason. And this is still better from a usage and convenience standpoint. It holds its charge for 30 days. It charges magnetically. It's convenient to bring on the go. As I mentioned, I partnered with Sucast on this video. They've got a sale going on right now, plus a 60-day risk-free trial. That's how confident they are, and I am, that you will actually enjoy this brush. My verdict is buy, but choose the right product. Right? This is your investment, but a good investment can go a long way in not just making your life easier, but healthier. All right, now going back to the whitening, there's something that actually works. Number 6, professional whitening gels with custom trays. This is where whitening actually works. You get custom fitted trays or trays that your dentist can make you that can hold the whitening gels in place for 30 minutes or more. You can produce significant lasting results. My verdict is buy because it's clinically effective. It's more likely to be used if you get the results. Number 7, U-brushes. The first time I saw U-brushes, I thought it was a joke. I actually didn't want to bash on it right away because I understand that there's a use case for them. People with limited manual dexterity may not be able to brush. So I looked at the science. These are automated mouthpiece things that you stick in your mouth. They vibrate around and they're supposed to clean just as well as regular brushing. That's where we got to put a hard stop because it doesn't. You can't sacrifice your health for convenience. So my verdict, skip until maybe in the future we get better products. Expanding floss are made up of hundreds of filaments that expand when they're wet. They're textured to grab onto more things. Traditional floss is thin and smooth. It's supposed to glide easily between your gums. But the expanding floss's advantage is that it grabs more debris. I personally use expanding floss. My verdict, buy. It's a small upgrade in the price, noticeable improvement in effectiveness. Number 8, tongue scrapers. I had a whole episode about tongue scrapers and why you should be using them before dates. Your tongue harbors bacteria, dead cells, and debris. It's basically a shag carpet for bacteria. And this coating is a major contributor to bad breath or halitosis. Studies show tongue scraping reduces bacteria and the volatile sulfur compounds that cause bad breath. Using a hard surface to clean, like a tongue scraper, is more effective at removing that layer of coating than a traditional toothbrush, which may be moving the debris around. Use this, game changer. Nano-hydroxyapatite toothpaste. This is an interesting one, and I actually think that in this discussion of fluoride alternatives, it's important to have this discussion. Almost every day, I have a parent in my office asking me if they can use a non-fluoride toothpaste. And I could give them the textbook answer. I could give them the current guidelines by the ADA, the AAPD, the AAP, which is you should be using fluoride toothpaste. It's the most clinically proven agent that we have out there that prevents cavities. But what if they still don't want to use it? They still need to find a way to protect their teeth. Nano-hydroxyapatite is a form of calcium phosphate that's actually a major component of tooth enamel. The NHA can remineralize the teeth and repair your enamel damage, similar to how fluoride works. And the research is emerging and actually in many cases very promising. But here's the critical part. The dosage of your NHA matters. Okay, key takeaway. You need at least 10% nano-hydroxyapatite for it to be effective. The problem is a lot of brands out there don't openly disclose their formulation. They use less than 10%. So if you're gonna use NHA toothpaste, 10% plus. But if you're gonna go by the professional guidelines and recommendations, stick with the fluoride toothpaste. Last but not least, Xylitol Gum, Xylitol mints. It's a sugar alcohol bacteria that can't metabolize, so it doesn't feed cavity-causing bacteria. Studies show this again and again. Regular usage of Xylitol Gum or mints after meals significantly reduces cavity risk. It stimulates salivary flow, so especially after anything acidic, this can help stabilize or neutralize the acids in the mouth that can often cause decay. This is a very simple one. I keep some xylitol packs in my backpack, clinic, wherever you go. One major caution, it's extremely toxic to pets, to dogs. Even small amounts can cause life-threatening blood sugar drops, liver failure. Long story short, xylitol, bad for animals. So my verdict here, buy. So we recapped 10 products. If there's any other products that you're curious about, let me know in the comments. Things that you tried that you liked, things that were a waste of time. Any feedback about the video or any future topics are also welcome. All right, thanks for watching. Stay tuned. See you next time.